How's it hanging, dudes? My name is Shawn and welcome back to another Cyberpunk 2077 video. Okay, so as you can see by the title and probably the thumb, this video will have some blind dislikes and hate, as many casuals would just simply see this title and, drop a dislike. So let me reason with you real quick, or at least those of you who will actually listen to this video in its entirety, right? Let me start by saying that the only one problem with CD Projekt Red's most anticipated game to date is nothing. That's right, nothing, nada, zip, zilch, zero, not a damn thing. Now don't dislike just yet, you haven't been clickbaited either, because I plan to inform you all open-minded gamers out there, all of you out there, about exactly what I mean by nothing being its actual problem. There's nothing wrong with the game, and that in fact is its actual problem. So to put it real simple, Cyberpunk 2077 has no real problems in the traditional gaming sense of the word, or what we would normally consider problems, such as a lack of world building and lore, or reskinned open world assets. To give you one obvious example of reskin, nowadays you may have encountered countless battle royale clones with only slight differences making it a reskin or whatever fad might be popular at the time. And of course, last but certainly not least, the big bad boogeyman on the block: over monetization. This disease saturates us via pay-to-play loot boxes.
Surprise mechanics.
Oh, sorry, EA, my bad. My bad on the terminology. It's surprise game mechanics or whatever kind of BS they're peddling nowadays. So, of course, during hype times of CDPR's released bits of gameplay, you may notice small bugs, glitches, unfinished assets that may pop up here and there. These will obviously be fixed before release, during beta feedback, or with patches soon after release, as they say many times that this game is a work in progress and does not reflect the end result, right? And this brings us to my first point. This game has a rabbit hole of never-ending lore, pages upon books of source material to wade through and adapt for world building and story arcs, so on and so forth. That has ushered life into an almost dead genre that is cyberpunk, and all the while CDPR puts profits second to that of the gamers' wants and desires to continue upholding their gold standard of consumer advocacy, of which no other developer commits to wholeheartedly. But you wouldn't know that if you took one glance at, Twitter. So let's go ahead and do that. So, transmission complete. Brand new gameplay footage for Cyberpunk 2077 is here. Cyberpunk 2077 deep dive video. Ruined the game. Disappointed. Yeah, downgrades start now in this game too. Look, Keanu Reeves is in the game. So bad. This gameplay was underwhelming. Barely any real gameplay. Too many cuts. It ruined the flow. When the video ended, I thought, where is the gameplay? I'm disappointed. WTF was that edit jumping from thing to thing. Also, gunplay looks pretty bad. I was disappointing as fuck. I knew couldn't get any idea of the gameplay, of flow, atmosphere, or cut footage like this. Okay, so it's almost as if it's still a work in progress. So many people don't understand or aren't old enough to remember just how trustworthy a studio CDPR really is, and therefore the lack of knowing exposes any younger, less intelligent gamers, of which the mainstream often tends to call toxic gamers. And in this case, one of the very few times, mind you, I actually agree with the mainstream. These toxic know-nothings will attack CDPR for a minutia of small and petty grievances. These tiny grievances have been overlooked in the past during pre-launch hype era of blockbuster games such as Red Dead Redemption 2 and Grand Theft Auto, right? Yet fans, and I use that term loosely, will viciously attack CDPR over the smallest imperfections out of a handful of clips, which has only showcased a tiny fraction of what the game has to offer. Keep in mind, the devs have stated time and time again that the game isn't finished and is still a work in progress, which everyone seems to conveniently forget with each new Cyberpunk post. So, you may be wondering, what are some of these minor grievances that you keep hearing so much about, that I keep shouting at you about? They're just little things like enemies being bullet sponges, or story spoilers, and the hype promos, or get this, complaints that there are not enough spoilers in the hype promos via wrongly conceived editing faux pas. In other words, non-issues, opinionated non-issues. While there is perfect lore, friendly, and basic elementary explanations for all of these so-called faux pas, it hasn't stopped a beta cucks from crying, man. I'm telling you. So let's tackle them real quick. You know just how to get it. I just gotta get off my chest. You know what I mean? I gotta vent for a second here, guys. I mean, this is kind of a little irking me, a little nitpicky, but you know I've been there. You know. So, but for example, the bullet sponge enemies. The easy explanation, guys, ranging from enemies are more likely to be highly modified via various cyberware, coupled with your own poor quality weapon in early game, seems to make it even more realistic. If you're almost invincible with all this, you know, built-in armor underneath your skin, it's going to take quite a few bullets from, you know, a poor quality weapon to even make a dent. So, and the more money you have, the more you can upgrade yourself. It's realistic for this game if you just stop and think for just 1 second and consider the lore. So thirdly, we have the story spoilers. See this disclaimer right here? Yeah. Or this one, or that one. Yep. They literally warn you of spoilers ahead of time. So I'm not entirely sure how to properly berate those who whine about this total non-issue. I just don't have the words. If you're that daft, I can't help you. Then you have those who don't like the publicly released edited version of what the devs showcased at the closed room showing at E3. There is a reason for that. Spoilers. They say so in this very disclaimer. But, you know, if there are, you're not going to be able to appease everybody, you know, with spoilers or not spoilers. You may feel like this trailer cut too much out, but at the end of the day, you will get the game at release. Anyway, so just dissecting 20 extra minutes of footage this early on before the game's not set to even release this year, and getting that extra 20 minutes of footage that spoils huge plot points would only serve to anger those who whine about spoilers in general. So either you're just too lazy to go frame by frame and dissect it for yourself, or you want all the juicy spoilers before the game even comes out and everything just laid out in front of you, right? You don't want to discover anything in the game for yourself. You want everything to be handed to you perfectly. It just makes no sense to me. What if there is like a huge reveal or a happening of some sort that they spoil for you, only for it to be a huge part of the story and for there nothing to really trump that very much except for the very climax in game? And because you already know about said happening months before release, it simply won't have the punch or the effect like as a big surprise. It's purely you know, a storytelling technique. For example, they show Jackie being killed. That could have been a huge reactionary payoff if they hadn't shown that small spoiler of him dying, right? But everyone thought Jackie was a huge player, only for us to see him to be cut down before the game even comes out. It could have been a huge payoff, which only means that there is so much more to not spoil that Jackie's death is only a minor shock factor with many more unexpected twists and turns around each unspoiled story corner, right? But it'll only be that way if it's an unspoiled story corner that you turn. Or it could just be a subversion tactic and Jackie, you know, to make you think he's dead and is actually still, you know, kicking later on in the story, you find out. Or it just could be the cause of your character selection bio at the game start, which means Jackie's death may be avoidable. But either way, you get the point, and I'm getting sidetracked. It could have been something big, but being as they showed it means that there's that much more. So things that you do get spoiled for, know that they're hiding big things for a reason. It's a story-driven game. So, normally, I would say, and I have myself, aggressively picked apart games that need it before launch, especially given certain developers. EA, Frontier. The mediocrity of these complaints and the harshness of which they have been dished out are completely unwarranted and totally hyperbolic. I mean, never mind the countless positives, such as the overall graphical quality, which seems, years more advanced than its competition. The music score, the lighting, the compounded story, the list goes on. And while this game is still, I repeat, still being a work in progress. So you see, all of this far outweighs the few negatives that these casuals cling to like fecal matter on a litter box. But to put it simply, these small issues are in fact non-issues. The backlash has only been this vitriolic for the simple fact that there is nothing else to be able to complain about. All these little things will be fixed post, before launch, after launch, and patches, and people are just wanting to hear themselves hate to hate. That's all a lot of people want to do on the internet. Sometimes you need to do that. Sometimes you need to attack certain things. This isn't one of those, guys. You got to be able to pick your battles and be smart enough to know. So that is... No, there wasn't really any real issues besides these non-issues, which, the lack of issues being there just opens a window for a lot of crazy people to just make up whatever they want, right? So there wasn't really any issues, that is, until recently. There's something that's caused me to turn back on my microphone after months of no uploads and get back into the fray. But you know me, when I feel like something isn't adequately defended, I can't help but open my mouth, right? So you see, certain complaints has gurgled to the top of this proverbial cesspool of non-issues. I'll give you a hint. Alphabet Soup. Alphabet Soup follows these new complaints. Still don't know? Okay, here's another hint. Dave Chappelle just went toe-to-toe with these people, I guess you could call them. Yeah, I'm talking about the L's and the G's and the B's and T's and, can't forget them Q's, you know what I'm saying? As well as the R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z's, however many letters they're up to now. So, stole the whole damn alphabet from us. That's right, the blue-haired woke crowd think that they have something on Cyberpunk 2077, Huzzah, they say. You racist, misogynistic, bigoted, cultural appropriating European developers. We've got you. We have got you. The lack of gender options is transphobic, and realistic depiction of different races or nationalities with stereotypical cultural appropriation is racist and bigoted. We won't stand for it. Let's boycott the only developer who cares about consumers. Yeah, that's pretty much what's happening in some of the most extreme cases. So, except that there's no lack of gender options, and this is all based in realism from the real world all around us, branched over into the cyberpunk timeline of our very own world, which really is only slightly different and only in a technological corporatized dystopian sort of way, not some sort of nationality, racial, stereotypical way, as much as you want to force your politics into it. So you woke, extreme, far leftists, let me ask you this. If this game is so racist, right? What about you? Haitians can't be culturally Haitian in this game? Can I ask you that? Can Haitians not be culturally Haitian in a game? Do they have to be depicted as what, just everybody else? They can't have their own cultural heritage depicted in a game? That seems sort of racist if you ask me. So headbutt the crap out of that like button, and if you agree with my points and views, make sure to share this video to your local blue-haired alphabet member. And, well, if you don't agree, then I really don't care, because you probably are of the blue-headed variety. So, until next time, piss off. Hello.